Perhaps the most prestigious motor racing series for up-and-coming young drivers is the British Formula 3 Championship. Starting in March and ending in October, it's 17 grueling races. The 1984 season was an extremely successful year for one young driver, Mario Hytten, a very international racing driver. He was born in Sweden and races for Switzerland. Indeed, he lives in Switzerland and England and speaks English, French, Italian and Swedish. One of the most important ingredients to attain success in motorsport is, of course, commercial sponsorship, something that was seriously lacking for Mario Hytten at the start of this British Formula 3 series back in March. Here we see Mario at the final round of the series in October at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Due to his success in 1984, Mario has attained many important sponsors, the most important of all being Parachute Advanced Fashions. So what were his results in 1984? Well, Mario was one of only 4 drivers to win a round of the British Formula 3 series. His results are indeed impressive. 1 win, 2 seconds, 3 thirds, and indeed he missed 3 rounds of the championship due to insufficient finance, but nevertheless finished 4th overall in the championship. In all, Mario achieved 10 results necessary for a super license, which was granted to him at the FISA Formula 1 Commission meeting in Paris in December of 1984. Indeed, he's the only Swiss driver, apart from Marc Surer, authorized to race the Formula 1 Grand Prix cars. The world of British Formula 3 racing is highly competitive. And to be that competitive in the top 6, one has to do a lot of testing between the races. Yet Mario Hytten only did 1/3 of the testing mileage covered by his competitors. So it makes his 4th place in the championship even more meritorious. So whilst its competitors were testing between each and every race, what exactly was Mario doing? Well, he was on a plane back to Geneva in order to obtain sponsorship to be on the grid for the next race. But what exactly is Formula 3 racing? Well, it's a single-seater racing car, as you can see, complete with ground effects, powered by a 2-litre engine, giving approximately 160 brake horsepower. Top speeds of these cars are in the order of 150 miles an hour. But the amazing thing, and this is due to the ground effects of the car, is that they can attain very high average speeds. Here at Silverstone, which is the fastest circuit that these cars visit during the course of the season, the average speed is over 125 miles per hour, or over 200 kilometers per hour. So exciting, competitive racing is what Formula 3 is all about. But what has happened to the past champions of Formula 3? Well, look at Ayrton Senna da Silva. He won the series in 1983 and has since made his mark very much in Formula 1 Grand Prix racing. So we now move back to March 1984 and the start of the British Formula 3 series and the start of Mario Hytten's trek to that 4th place in the championship. The first race held around the club circuit at Silverstone in not exactly the world's most ideal conditions. March in England is anything but dry. But what of Mario Hytten's car? Well, it's completely white. Why is it completely white? It's got no main sponsor at this time. Just 1 week before the start of the season, Mario signed with the very experienced Murray Taylor racing team. Weather conditions far from ideal for this first round of the championship, everybody on the wet weather groove tyres. For the first 2 races, Mario Hytten was financed by an anonymous businessman and by 2 of his most loyal sponsors, DAS Legal Insurance and Geneva's private school, Collège du Le Mans, who have both been with him for the last 6 years. In these rather inclement weather conditions, Mario Hytten's car not exactly well set up and he was struggling just that little bit. The lead of the race taken by Johnny Dumfries and a battle royal between him and Alan Berg, the Canadian in his 2nd full year of the British Formula 3 Championship Series. With very little testing under his belt prior to the start of the season, Mario Hytten finished in 7th place, just outside the point-scoring positions. The race itself was won by Johnny Dumfries from the Canadian Alan Berg. Ever truthful, Mario Hytten was disappointed with his performance here in round one of the championship. Round two at Thruxton in Hampshire, and at least the weather has improved. The man in pole position here from New Zealand was Paul Radisich. A surprise this, but once again Johnny Dumfries gets away fastest. Now, the British Formula 3 series is always very close and competitive. And whenever you get close and competitive racing, you tend to get a little bit of bumping and boring. And Paul Radisich soon goes to the tail end of the field after coming together with Alan Berg on the first lap. Dumfries it is who leads, Berg is second, Gilbert-Scott third, David Hunt fourth, and up to fifth place is Mario Hytten. Hytten closing in on David Hunt. As you can see, it's close and competitive racing with plenty of cars competing from anywhere from top to 20th position. The top 5 cars pull away. Hytten now right on the tail of David Hunt. David Hunt, incidentally, the brother of former world champion James Hunt, and David Hunt is known as not giving any piece of tarmac away and sometimes getting a little bit over-exuberant, pushes Mario Hytten off, and Hytten slams into the barrier very heavily indeed. Mario, though, completely unhurt, and this really does show just how strong these Formula 3 cars are. To say after this event, David Hunt wasn't the most popular person around the racetrack. And yes, they're taking a look at Mario's neck. It's still there. For the next round, well, we'd had rain in the first round, sunshine in the second round, and yes, we've got snow in the third round. Dumfries gets away from Andrew Gilbert-Scott. Up to Cops Corner for the first time. And a lot of bumping and boring as Russell Spence goes through into second place. The circuit very, very skittish indeed. And the snow blowing down. As somebody spins off one of the tail enders. But where, you may ask, is Mario Hytten? Well, he's in the grandstand. No sponsorship, no news on that all-important sponsorship front, putting him out of this third round of the championship. But there was better news to come. Zolder, the fourth round, saw him score his first championship points of the season with a fourth place, and we move on to round 5 here at Thruxton, where the car is sponsored, as it was at Zolder, by cheeses from Switzerland, who promote exports for the famous national product. Easter Bank Holiday Monday sees this 5th round of the championship take place in front of BBC television cameras giving live coverage. Berg and Dumfries side by side, and the Canadian just that little bit over-exuberant. The lead of the race is, of course, Johnny Dumfries, with Mario Hytten lying in 4th place at the moment. So Cheeses of Switzerland getting a lot of exposure now is closing in on 3rd place man Cor Oyser. Still Dumfries who's leading. And now Hytten challenging for 3rd place as Dumfries almost overdoes it at the chicane. Gilbert-Scott closing up on Dumfries. But the man at the moment who set the fastest lap is Mario Hytten, and Hytten is up to 3rd place ahead of Cor Oyser. Into the pits comes Alan Berg. He's gone off yet again. Gilbert-Scott looks to the outside, then the inside, trying to take the lead from Dumfries, and closing on 1st and 2nd is Mario Hytten. Now this is really a superb race. Outside? No. Inside? No. But the two are absolutely tied together, and as we can see, Hytten's Cheeses of Switzerland car is closing in all the time. Two seconds separate 1st to 3rd. Gilbert-Scott, of course, is Mario's teammate, and there is Mario, number 9, closing in. Koreuser in 4th place, and David Hunt well back in 5th place. Up to 6 now is Ross Cheever, the young American driver. While still the battle goes on, and Gilbert-Scott looks to the inside. And no way, says Dumfries, but Hytten closing in all the time. And now Mario Hytten has joined the trio very much. So Hytten gaining once again fastest lap, and Mario perhaps driving the race of his life here at Thruxton in front of a massive crowd as Russell Spence tries a novel way to go around the chicane with a rather damaged nose cone. Still Dumfries leading, Gilbert-Scott second, Mario Hytten up to 3rd place still. Koreuser 4th, and those top 3 could just about be tied together with a handkerchief. And now challenging for 2nd place, Mario Hytten. And Gilbert-Scott dropping back a little bit from leader Dumfries, and that's pulling. There is Dumfries the leader. No, Gilbert-Scott closing again. This really is quite a battle for the top 3 placings. And Hytten looking to the inside and going through and taking 2nd place. So Hytten now up to 2nd place. A really excellent effort. Can he close in on the leader Dumfries? Dumfries, who's been so all-conquering so far in the British Formula 3 series, looks to be coming under real threat. Dumfries, Hytten, Gilbert-Scott. The two Murray-Taylor Racing rules being absolutely tied together. And I should think Murray-Taylor probably a little bit worried in the pits about his 2 teammates coming together. And Hytten is pulling away from Gilbert-Scott and closing in on Dumfries. Although will time run out because we're coming towards the end of the race. There are the top 3. They're on to their final lap, but it's Dumfries out of the corner for the final time, the chicane, and comes across to win here at Thruxton, but finishing in 2nd place, Mario Hytten. And so to round 6, held on the 7th of May, once again at Thruxton Racing Circuit. In the first of the 2 practice sessions, Mario was on pole position, but he was knocked off that race as he had no new tyres for that all-important 2nd session. The sponsor on Mario Hytten's car is Karl Studer. Now, that was a new sponsor for Mario, and it came as a result of a most unusual sponsorship method. A number of individuals and companies paid relatively small amounts, and their names were picked, so to speak, out of the hat, rather like a raffle, and the winner, well, they got the name on the side of Mario's car. Hytten then very much in the groove here at Thruxton, up to a front row position, number 5. Dumfries, Hytten on that front row, and Hytten makes a very good getaway, as does Alan Berg and the Spaniard Carlos Abella, but it looks to be Dumfries who's in the lead. They go way round Allards. Back at the end of lap 1, it's Hytten up to 2nd place, and Carlos Abella pushes his way through to 3rd. Berg is down to 4th. Dumfries, Hytten, Abella, the top 3. Hytten once again showing his form, not closing in on Dumfries at the moment, but holding equal distance between him and Carlos Abella. Dumfries through in the lead. Dumfries really dominating the British Formula 3 Championship Series in 1984 so far. Hytten, though, most definitely making his mark here. As Dumfries comes out of the chicane, there's Hytten 2nd, Abella 3rd, Alan Berg in 4th. And now the battle would be for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. The battle's all the way down the field, and there's David Hunt well down the field. Hytten still 2nd, Abella closing in just that little bit. Alan Berg is still in 4th place, but 2nd, 3rd and 4th not that far apart. There's the leader, Dumfries, going through and trying very hard, and Hytten now under a lot of pressure from Abella, and Alan Berg's in 4th place, so those 2nd, 3rd and 4th, no more than a second between them. Spaniard Carlos Abella looking to the outside. No way will he get round there. Still the same order behind Dumfries. As Dumfries goes through to win here at Thruxton, Hytten finishes second, Carlos Abella third. So a second consecutive second place for Mario Hytten. As we move on to Darlington. Round 7 here starts with Ross Cheever taken to the grass, and as ever, it looks as if Dumfries has gone into the lead. Once again, changeable weather conditions here. Dumfries leading, Berg in second place. Russell Spence is third, and a battle here between Tony Trevor and Andrew Gilbert-Scott, with Gilbert-Scott doing the right thing and trying to do a little bit of rallycross.